Hi, I originally started to film my summer reading wrap-up, but then the postman came with my Thalia order, so let's unpack this, shall we? Just for the record, I am filming the two videos on the same day. I'm not sure if you're gonna see my summer reading wrap-up first, probably, but then this video will come second, and yeah, I am wearing the same clothes because I am filming it at the same time. It is quite a big package. I ordered some books because they were on sale, the hardcover ones. Plus, there was also a coupon code that I could use. So that is the reason. Wow, that was super loud. That is the reason for this haul, which is a little bit funny because in my last video I said, yeah, my autumn TBR is gonna consist of books that I already own, so I can indulge a little bit more in my book reading habits instead of book buying. And then I place an order like 2 weeks after. Well, consistency was never my strong point. Let's see what I pick out first. First book, there is like a weird layer of dust on it. Oh well, is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I'm pretty sure I also don't have to introduce this book to you guys. It is one of the other dark academia classics next to The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And of course, I did buy it for my dark academia video, which is coming up. I am preparing more than 20 dark academia recommendations in that video. And of course, I do need to mention the big five, which is basically The Secret History, If We Were Villains, the Atlas 6. I have the copy of the Atlas Paradox, which is the second part, here with me, because I was too lazy to get out my copy of the Atlas 6 on the upper shelf below some candles and some decoration. So yeah, the big five is basically If We Were Villains, the Atlas 6, The Secret History, and also Ninth House, and the fifth one, which you're also gonna be seeing in this haul, because I also got a physical copy of this. From what I can gather, it's a little bit of a retrospective narrator, because we have Oliver Marks as our main character, who served 10 years for a murder he may or may not have committed. And based on the blurb, we get the story from his perspective, him telling the story that happened a decade before to a detective. And he was basically a young actor at an elite conservatory. And in this acting class, there is a group of friends, 7 to be precise, and one of them is found dead. And it basically tells the story of what occurred back then and what were the dynamics in this class, also between the friends. So in this case, we do have the morality, the sin, the more introspective aspect of dark academia. And from what I've heard, this is also full of pretentious people who like quoting Shakespeare and they kind of live in their own bubble. So that's also gonna be super interesting to read for my dark academia video. Next, we have the fifth book of the big five of dark academia. I finally got my hands on a copy of Babel by R.F. Kuang. It is the hardback edition, which was on sale, so I was super happy to find it. So yeah, this is R.F. Kuang's second work after the Poppy War series, and it is also dark academia, more so. I'm not sure if there's a murder in it, but here the dark academia aspect refers more to the critique of the system and seeing that an outsider, quote unquote, joining the system and how they perceive the system and what kind of critique they form about it. It is historical fantasy, and it centers on topics such as student revolutions, colonial resistance, and the use of language and translation as a dominating tool of the British Empire. So I know that it goes very much into linguistics and linguistics as a tool of colonialism. So it's been a while since I read something that really made me think deeply and also in the historical aspect. So I'm super excited to get started on this. Not gonna lie, I know how popular R.F. Kuang is, and I do have the Poppy War series from her, although the first book only so far, and I've always been intimidated by it because, I mean, it is a chunky book and also the Poppy War is quite long, and I've also thought like, I really need to be in the right moment to commit to a book like this, because I don't want to just like, you know, kind of skim through it or like read it half-hearted. I really want to take my time and to absorb this book. I'm probably gonna do this autumn, and I will share my comments on it with you as well. Basically, the theme of this book haul is very much dark academia, because the third book I also got is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I also know the hype for this author, like she also has a work called Uprooted, which is quite popular, and I have seen it mentioned for fantasy romance fans, but her Deadly Education, the Scholomance series, I think it's called, is one of the dark academia ones. When it comes to the dark academia aspect, this book embodies it more so, not because there is a murder or questions of morality, or not like there are questions of the system and critique of the elite, such as in Babel, but more so because we have a magical school as the focus of the plot, and we have a student who has very dangerous powers, and we basically get the whole story from her point of view, and the dark label is more so because of her powers. Just one sentence on the blurb, it reads, "Just give me a chance and I will level mountains and kill untold millions, make myself the dark queen of the world." That sounds interesting. So we are getting hopefully some female rage in there, which I would be interested in reading in a fantasy dark academia backdrop. This is a part of a series, and so far I only have the first book. I thought that actually the first book would be longer, because I'm kind of used to those fantasy books being stretched a little bit, but it's only like 313 pages, at least in this edition. Ooh, and we got some really cool illustrations as well, some of the back pages, so that sounds really amazing. Ooh, look at that, like dormitory room, and yeah, another dormitory room illustrations. Ooh, I love that. So let's see if I would be interested in continuing the series, but for sure I will try to make some time to get into Naomi Novik's A Deadly Education. I find it funny, I basically dusted off the back of the book, and then the first author who has a recommendation is Naomi Novik. The second one is Stephanie Garber, which, as you can see from her books, her Once Upon a Broken Heart series being on my top bookshelf, is literally my favorite author. And then the last one is Chloe Gong, from whom I have read The Foul Lady Fortune just last month, so it's gonna be in my summer reading wrap-up, or you have already seen that video probably. But yeah, I picked up Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, mainly because it was mentioned in my comment section by a person, and then I looked it up and I'm like, it sounds something right up my alley. Based on Naomi Novik's recommendation, it is an exciting, original and complex fantasy about monsters, heroes and all the people in between. Stephanie Garber calls it mind-bending, heart-wrenching and unputdownable. For some reason I read this word unputdownable, but it's such a word that my brain like doesn't want to comprehend it, that it's a one word. It's so weird. Anyway, an absolute page-turner, Vanessa Len blurs the age-old lines between good and evil, hero or monster, in the most captivating way. That was the recommendation from Chloe Gong. First of all, the cover is gorgeous. I really like this gothic, dark red flower details, a dragon on the bottom, and also the font is really cool, and the half obscured female face in the middle. I really like the cover, so I thought this would be the perfect addition to have it on my bookshelf. In Only a Monster, we have 16-year-old Joan as a main character who somehow travels through time and discovers that her family is harboring some secrets, namely that they are all monsters, and she is forced to team up with Aaron Oliver, who is from a rival monster family. So this is definitely not a hero story. She is the monster in the book, and it seems to have a little bit of Romeo and Juliet kind of romance, with the love interest coming also from a rival monster family. I hope it's gonna be one of those atmospheric, fantasy romance reads that I crave in every season of the year, but especially autumn. So there I have it. I also picked up Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. So these are the books that I picked up from Thalia, 2 hardcovers and 2 paperbacks, mostly dark academia and 1 dark fantasy, and I cannot wait to get to all of them. Let me know if you have read any of them or what do you think of them, and if you have any other recommendations based on any of them, I would be super happy to read about it. So talk to me in the comments below, and see you in my next video, hopefully the dark academia one. I'm super excited to collect 20 dark academia recommendations and share it with all of you. So see you there, and until then, take care. Bye bye.